For so long, I'd be like, why are we changing our mind every 2 seconds? Why do we feel differently about this situation? Why did I start a new task in the middle of one? What is happening to me? And then I realized, oh, that's just one of the ladies in my brain trying to take over the controls and take over my body and make the decisions in our life. Oh, okay. Well, if I can just recognize the signs, I can at least work with that. I can work with that. Before I understood everything going on in my brain, I honestly was just confused about so many different things throughout life. I didn't understand why I would suddenly switch tasks in the middle of something, or say things that didn't feel like they were coming from me, or make decisions and think, when the heck did I decide to do that? So much of my life felt like I was playing a video game and someone came and took the controller and started controlling my life, and I was just stuck watching it all. But that's when I would learn that I had OSDD and I had multiple ladies living inside of my brain. Now, people with DID, they experience full blackouts and full amnesia about certain periods of their life. But with OSDD, while similar, I still remember it all, but it's just like I'm not the one driving. And over the past year, I learned that was happening because I do have these parts, these ladies that live in my brain that learn to step up and take over in certain moments, not to hurt us, but to protect us. And all of those confusing things throughout my life were because I wasn't going crazy, but I was instead co-fronting with my parts. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or to it if this is the first time you are seeing my face. Thank you so much for clicking on it. My name is JC and I've spent the past year making it my full-time job to study my brain and my body and go on this crazy healing journey of all these different diagnoses that I've received. And the one that we're going to be talking about today is my OSDD diagnosis and having these multiple ladies that live inside my brain. I'm going to be telling you guys the 6 ways that I've learned to identify when a part starts co-fronting with me and how I can bring awareness to that experience in general. And even if you don't have OSDD, you watching this video right now, we all have parts. I follow the internal family systems model, which is called IFS, and it applies to everybody. It's basically this idea that we're all made of parts and we all have different parts that step up during times. So while mine may be on the more extreme level, this video may still apply to you if you get confused why you have conflicting feelings towards something or why you do certain things in certain situations. I hope it helps. But disclaimer, before we hop into these items, I do want to say that this is my own personal experience and this is not medical advice. Please seek professional opinions if you need help with your own systems or your own therapy type of journeys. This is just how I spent my time over the past year studying my own actions in my own brain. And I will say, you guys, I had the time and the luxury to be able to do this. So this may take longer for you to start recognizing these signs. But again, it's all just my personal experience that I want to bring to you guys. So hopefully you can start recognizing the patterns within yourselves. But with that being said, let's hop into the 6 ways I can identify when I'm co-fronting with one of my parts. Number 1 is I will feel 2 opposite emotions at once. So the first sign for me when I know I'm co-fronting is when I start feeling 2 totally different emotions at the exact same time. Like I'm not changing my mind, I am simultaneously feeling terrified and annoyed at the same time. So let me give you an example. So recently it was Halloween and I was told about this Halloween party that it was going to be this vampire themed party. So I tell 2 of my friends, hey, it's vampires. I'm going to go dressed as a bat. You know, that's vampire adjacent. And they go dressed as sinners. We show up to this party, you guys, and it was a Victorian vampire masquerade. Everyone was in gowns, in fangs, in very elegant gala style clothing. And I'm dressed as a silly bat and my friends are from Sinners. It was very much an Elle Woods moment of like, oh my God, we're at the wrong theme party. This is so embarrassing. And in that moment, I immediately get split screened. Now, if you're not familiar, split screened is what I call on my TikTok and my YouTube shorts when I start co-fronting, because exactly what I'm describing, I get split screened and I feel 2 different ways towards something. So at this Halloween party, I had one side that immediately came up and was like, this is so embarrassing. We need to leave. I'm having a terrible time. Like I am struggling to even be comfortable in my own batty skin right now. But then I had this other side over here going, JC, these are our friends. Who cares? We're at a Halloween party. We're dressed up. We're having fun. We're having drinks. Who cares? And all night long, those two sides being split screen were just fighting against each other. So I am simultaneously panicking, embarrassed, terrified to even be there. And the other side, chill, having fun, trying to convince this side, girl, we're okay. We're safe. There's no need to panic. So when I start having two totally different feelings and opinions towards some things, that's how I know I think I'm co-fronting, because I had a part that got activated that feels differently from me, and now we're both fighting. Now, I will say, I'd like to mention that, again, you guys, I spent a year studying my brain, and I personally have now gotten to the point where I can talk to that part and I can hear them and hear their thoughts, and I can say, hey, what's going on? Like, what are you feeling? Oh, you're feeling panicky right now? Why is that? Well, we don't need to feel that way anymore. That took a long time to get to. So starting at the beginning, if you're on your own healing journey, awareness is key. Just seeing the awareness of, wait, I'm having conflicting feelings. I might be co-fronting. That is already a huge step. But before, when I was just confused about all things life and why I had these conflicting feelings, I now can understand that it's usually one of the ladies in my brain stepping in to protect our system. Number 2 is I will start new tasks without even choosing to. So another big sign that I'm co-fronting is that I'll start doing something completely unrelated to what I'm doing, but without ever consciously deciding to do it. So here's an example. This is embarrassing, but I'll tell you guys. So there was one day where I'm cooking egg rolls. You know, I'm in the kitchen. I'm like, I'm hungry. Let's make a snack. So I throw some egg rolls in the oven. And then somehow a part gets activated. And it's like, I'm like a sleeper agent. And I'm like, you know what I need to do? I need to go clean my closet right now. Yep, time to declutter. I go into my closet. I start decluttering my closet. And a few hours pass. And I'm like, wait. When did I even decide to do this? Like, I don't even remember. Forget about it. Hours later, you guys, I go, oh my God, my egg rolls. let me just play the clip.
I smelled something burning, and I just realized I left my egg rolls in the oven since noon. It's 10 p.m., and I'm scared to look in the oven.
Honestly, it could be worse.
Gosh, no wonder it's been so hot in my apartment all today. I had the oven on. Golly.
It looks like a chocolate stuffed churro or something. Yep, that's disgusting. Not gonna eat that, but lesson learned. You guys, I could have burned down my freaking house because a part took over my brain and decided we needed to clean the closet in that moment. So it's so much more than just getting distracted. It's literally like a new decision is made and I abandoned the original decision to the point I could have burned down my apartment. And for so long, I thought I had ADHD, but even those symptoms didn't fit because I'm like, why am I always getting distracted and trying new things? But the confusing part that's different from the ADHD is it's like I'm begging myself to stop and I'm being like, why are we starting new tasks? Please, we didn't even finish the one over here. So it's compulsive and it just, again, feels like a decision that's not authored by me. So beyond just getting distracted and starting fun new projects throughout the apartment, I would say that starting tasks without consciously making the decision to is another indicator that a part got activated and is starting to co-front with me. This next one is very niche to me. I would be curious to know if anybody else struggles with this. But the third is that I completely avoid mirrors because I don't recognize myself. So I had no idea until this past year, you guys, that I don't look in mirrors. Like, sure, when I'm putting on my makeup, but it's more of like I'm creating art as opposed to looking at myself. I avoid mirrors in general. Even if I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, I have a dissociation disorder. So I'm dissociating out and I'm not using my eyes and I'm not looking at myself. I didn't even know I was doing that. But as I've studied my brain and the reactions that I'm getting when I look at mirrors, the reason is because it's not that I don't like how I look, it's because I don't recognize myself when I look in the mirror because I'm co-fronting as another part. So here's an example. I'm gonna talk about the movie Marrowbone. So spoilers if you've never seen this random movie that even I hadn't heard of. But it's about this guy who lives in this house with his siblings. And, you know, there's a spooky presence that lives in the house, so they have to cover up all the mirrors because the younger siblings get scared when they look in the mirrors because they see that spooky presence. Spoiler alert, it's a good movie, you guys. You find out that that main guy does have DID, and his siblings he created as his alters, and he's actually part of them. It's a whole thing. But stay with me. The reason he covers the mirrors is because when he switches in and out of his alters and looks in the mirror, he gets scared because he doesn't recognize who he sees in the mirror. He sees him as this regular man, but in his brain, he switched out as one of his younger parts. So he gets terrified. So when I'm watching this movie, I'm like, I do that. I avoid looking in the mirrors because every now and then I found that I'd be co-fronting with a smaller part. And I'd look in the mirror and I would think, I'm an old lady. I'm old. I'm haggard. I don't recognize myself because in my head, I'm just a kid. And again, I didn't know this was happening, but my brain just learned to protect itself. Just don't look in the mirror so you don't scare yourself. So I've been on this crazy body image, body healing journey that I can't even get into in this video, because I've started looking in the mirror, accepting how I look, and healing internally with all of my parts connecting and integrating that way. So as of now, I can actually use mirrors as a grounding tool. I can use it as an identifier of, I was getting a little spacey and dissociated, or I was co-fronting because I flinched when I looked in the mirror. So I'm able to ground myself and go, hey, it's me, we're all here. I am the one inside of my body, let's continue. And that's been really great. But in the past, one of the ways that I've known I'm co-fronting is if I start avoiding mirrors in general. Number 4 is I need a nap. I get so suddenly, overwhelmingly tired. This one surprised me because if you follow me over on Instagram or TikTok, you would know that I struggle with sleeping problems and have my whole life. It is one of my biggest personality traits that I am a hardcore sleeper. And throughout all of my life, I could sleep for like 15 hours every single night, no problem if you let me. I would go to the doctors for it and they would tell me, you're just a long sleeper. You require more sleep than other people. I had no idea that it was related to all of the ladies in my brain, and here's why. So I would sleep 15 hours a night. Like I literally would sleep that whole chunk of time. I would wake up, something would activate inside of my brain, and even though I had just slept all that time, I'd immediately feel like, I need to nap. Girl, you just had a coma and you're trying to nap again? What is wrong with you? The reason is because co-fronting takes up a lot of brain power. It's like my system is running 2 processes at once, and it is very overwhelming for my nervous system, and it's a lot of work for my brain. So to protect myself, my brain goes, this is too much, just go to sleep, just take a nap, please, just make it all stop. And it's one of the ways that I'm able to kind of counteract the co-fronting and just take a rest. So now all my sleeping problems are making sense. I didn't know I was dissociating. I didn't know I had these parts trying to take over the brain and overwhelming and fritzing out my system. But now that I know, oh my God, anytime I just get this overwhelming need to take a nap, I try to get back into my body, ground myself and go, who's trying to make us take a nap because we're tired and overwhelmed? Okay, we don't need to do that right now. Let's take a beat. We can stay awake. We don't need to do another hibernation. But that is another way that I've learned that I am co-fronting, and I guess a way to stop it in that case. Number 5 is I completely lose my body. Now, I'm going to explain this one a little briefly. It's super important, but I can't get into the nitty-gritty of it, and let me tell you why. So when I was in my trauma treatment program for 10 weeks, my therapist, like every session, she would say, and where do you feel that part in your body? Where does she show up for you in your body? And I'd be like, Miss Ma'am, what the frick frack are you talking about? Well, I don't know what that means. I didn't know I didn't have a body, that I wasn't connected. But now a year into this journey, you guys, they are spot on because my parts really do hold different parts of the body. It has been such an insane somatic journey. I can't wait to write my book, you guys. But suffice to say that the body does keep the score, and parts of myself are holding on to my body parts physically. So one example is I went on a date recently, and as I'm sitting there on this date, I couldn't help but noticing that I just kept clenching my butt cheeks. They were clenched the whole time. And he's talking, and I literally have to be like, JC, breathe, relax. And I'd have to manually relax. And then 10 seconds later, I'd bring awareness to it and I'm clenched up again. And that's when I noticed, oh my God, I'm co-fronting right now because a part feels triggered and they're holding on to a body part in my body. Another one is I've learned that one of my parts is holding their breath the whole time. I'll feel it in my chest and I'll be like, please breathe, relax, we're gonna suffocate ourselves. And I won't be able to control it. But if I'm not co-fronting, it's like I don't even realize it. I'm breathing normally, I'm not clenched up. But once I start losing access to parts of my body where I just start noticing, oh my gosh, this part keeps tensing up, this part keeps losing access to it, I realize, a part just took over in my body, and maybe I don't have the means to heal them in this moment and get them to give me their body part back, but that is one way I'm able to bring attention to the fact that one of the ladies took over not only my brain, but also my body. So stay tuned for more body healing stuff because, I don't know, guys, I might have to do a Shadow Brains part 2 of it all. It's been such a beautiful journey and really the biggest part of my healing journey, but it's so complicated to explain on that somatic, traumatic level that just stay tuned for all that. But just know that my parts can take over your body too. And lastly, number 6 is that my inner voice gets louder than reality. So essentially, my thoughts get so loud that I can't even hear somebody talking in front of me. So many times, and again, I didn't even know this was happening, I will be talking to somebody and it's like my thoughts get so loud that they just start going, yeah, and so then and I'm just watching them and I'm like, I can't hear anything that they're saying. So over the years, I've actually learned to master this. I did a TikTok about this and people got all mad of like, why are you revealing our secrets? But essentially I say, I've learned how to master dissociating in conversation because I've learned to match their energy. And if they're excited and upbeat, then I'm nodding right there with them. I've also learned how to repeat phrases back to them so that they keep talking so I can stay inside my own head. And I also learned how to have canned phrases. So if they're done talking and I was not listening to anything that they've said, I could just be like, wow, really makes you think, huh? And then it throws it back in their court. So I literally learned skills when my thoughts get too loud because I can't hear them. And so now, again, this past year, as I've been studying my brain, I can take this external perspective and I'm like, oh my God, the reason I stopped listening to them is I'm co-fronting because what's happening inside of my cranium is a part gets activated and now it's just talking to this other part. So it's very, you guys, it's very effortless. It's not like I'm realizing I'm doing it where I'm like, oh my God, I have too many thoughts right now. Again, I always thought I was just smarter than other people, that my thoughts worked faster. And I was right, but it's because I had 2 sets of thoughts going on. And because of that, I realized over time, it's not that I'm listening, I was performing listening because these ladies in my brain would get too loud talking to each other. So over time, I've learned that when I stop listening to somebody talking right in front of me because my thoughts get too loud, that's when I understand that I'm co-fronting with one of the ladies in my brain that got activated and feels the need to speak over them. How rude. But those are 6 ways that I've learned to recognize when I start co-fronting or getting split screen. Now, this is step 1, is just the recognitions, just understanding the patterns and when it starts to happen. Step 2 is actually creating that communication, opening that dialogue. Step 3 is actually healing that part and ensuring that they don't feel the need to get activated and start co-fronting with you. But you guys, that whole process has taken me a year of full-time nonstop work. It is a lot of work. And so if you're in this process as well, be patient with yourself because healing takes a lot of effort and time. And you're doing the right thing by just watching this video and starting to recognize the signs. And to be honest, when I started recognizing that I was co-fronting, it was scary because it was like those glass shattering moments where I'm like, oh my God, I actually have this. Like there really are different fragments of myself living in my brain and talking to each other. This is scary. But I've learned over time that they're not co-fronting to scare me. It's my parts trying to protect me. And so once I stopped seeing these moments as, oh my God, something's wrong with me, and instead as information, I'm able to start recognizing patterns of when these parts start stepping in and why. So really, the most important step in all of this is bringing awareness to that because that is going to just be the first domino in a full long line of dominoes of healing. You guys get it. But that's going to be it for today's video. I have a lot more videos coming your way of just like short little informational videos that answer your guys' questions and hopefully help you guys along your healing journey. So if there's anything specific you are dying to know or could really use my advice and personal experience with, definitely leave it down in the comments below. But if you guys enjoyed hanging out with me, go follow me on social media because you can hang out with me in other ways. Over on my Instagram, it's more of my just like day in the life type of content content. I did get a new job. I'm promo modeling, which is just a bunch of side quests where I get to work different events. So it's really fun. So if you want just my regular life, go follow me there. Over on TikTok is going to be more short form healing content if you like this more healing, mental health type of stuff. YouTube here is going to be some deep dives into some of these topics a little bit more. And then, of course, I have my podcast, The Naked Puppet, where I get real vulnerable and real not safe for work about some content in terms of this whole healing journey and reflecting on my life. So go follow me on all of those platforms if you like me. And if not, I just appreciate you being here. If you give this video a like or a subscribe, it means the world to me. But if not, hopefully I will just see you in the next video. But I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Toodles! I think one of the other best things about co-fronting and knowing it is that I could be like, oh no, that wasn't my choice. That was middle school JC who wanted to eat an entire pound of chocolate on a Tuesday night. That wasn't me. That was her. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So it does have its benefits. Cavities aren't one of them though, so don't do that, you guys.